Okay, and anyway, we were introducing the teams. And first off, it was Ismo Noob, who is stuck on a plateau. As I mentioned before, see, he cannot get off without walking, without flying, so that would be why he's built an air factory first. And once he gets some engines out, they only got 3 mass extractors, so 4, sorry, up there, and 5. So you can be desperate to get off that plateau for assistance. Down behind him, however, it is Bramble. Bramble is also UEF. Bramble is in a nice white colour. No mistakes on that. He's got 3 mixes handily placed. There behind Bramble we have Sadnak. Sadnak is Cybran today. He is in light blue. He's got his first factory down, starting to work on some extra power for some air most likely. Let's move on. And finally, for team number 1 at the top slot, it is Healthy Core. Healthy Core is a 3rd UEF for team number 1, so heavy on the UEF. Team 1, 3 UEF and 1 Cybran. And he is in a standard green colour and he's walking his way forward. Let's have a gander at team number 2. And on the plateau for team 2, and discovering he can actually distance build with his command right at the edge, it is Esby. And Esby is also UEF, but he is in a yellow colour. No air factory for him because he knows he can do that. Now behind Esby down here, it is Milas. Milas is Seraphim though. Milas is in a nice lavender colour, and he's finished his land factory, down some power, and started an air factory right away. So I don't know if he's got enough power to run that properly, but behind him anyway, it is Emma, and Emma is pink. Emma is UEF, and there's a lot of UEF in this game. But anyway, he's got his factories up, his engineers coming out, and finally 14 number 2 over here on this little spot. It is Crimple, Crimple. Going to be RK, or maybe Crimple, probably Crimple, but he's UEF and he's purple. So there's actually a whole lot of UEF. Each team has 3 UEF players, then 1 alternative faction. So it's 1, 2, 3 UEF and 1 Cybran versus 1, 2, 3 UEF and 1 Seraphim. So no Aeon represented today. This is a lot of UEF, and yeah, but you can see right here this distance build. So I'm thinking SB might have played this map before to know he can manage this, whereas poor Ismo Noob is not aware of this fact. And he has built himself a transport, so he can now start ferrying engineers down, in particular to this spot, I would imagine, where there are 3 mixers and a hydro. Kind of looks like another starting location, if you ask me. Like, I strongly suspect that that was supposed to be another player's slot, because it is very similar to the configuration of the other places. He got hydro and 3 mixers, but they've turned into a 4v war. They have left those spots empty, and they have been allowed to expand on that way. Alright, so drops coming out. We down here, we see Bramble is dumping down onto this plateau with some engineers. He just wants to try and get those up and running. We have 2 more plateaus up here which could be dropped to get a couple of mixes out of. Not much reclaim on top of the plateaus. In fact, there's actually nothing. So only really want to drop engines here for the sole purpose of sticking down some mass extractors. Alright, and on for a walk is, no, Crimple is not for a walk. He's actually throwing down a naval factory right away. So he's popped down a couple of factories in his base. He's got some engineers doing engineer things, getting some assistance on a factory to get a transport out. And he is already moving up to grab the mass from these rocks. So interesting. Just the way they're moving about and playing right now, we have a couple of naval factories in the water actually, or Healthy Core. So Healthy Core is moved into the Navy, and on for a bit of a walk is Milas, and on for a bit of a drop is Milas, but it's not going to make it. A couple of engineers out for Ismo Noob. Says no drop for you, good sir, and shoots the transport out of the sky. A couple of engineers on board there. Denied. Drop absolutely denied. We have a ping going out here for absolutely no reason that I can think of. There's these UEF Black Sun structures around. A lot of health, 5,000 health on that thing. There was some of these 1,200 on the towers, 1,000 on the cranes. So just a few little fun things lobbed around the place for interest sakes. But yep, this engineer has been hurriedly, it's been wandering around grabbing all the reclaim in this bottom pond for Crimple, because he's aware it is there, I would suggest. Alright, another drop coming over here from Ismo Noob. Looks like he is just planning to dump the engines here, going to grab the reclaim for himself and start building some mass extractors, but he's going to maybe want to think about water, because so many UEF, in fact, 1, 2. Everybody's in the water for team number 2 except for Emma, who may be focusing on air perhaps. There's another air factory planned up there. It's getting plenty of reclaim. Might want to think about getting in the water, maybe, perhaps. Maybe not. But this is interesting. Melis is walking around with his comm, and if he gets up into this plateau, he can start causing some issues. Although that is a point defense been placed up, that is an anti-air been thrown up. Although there's no water in that PD, so it's not going to be as effective as it could be. But I think the danger here is there's a commander on the way. Doesn't finish the anti-air turret before sending these guys out to start building mixes, but they're going to run afoul of Melis's comm right there. There has been a drop from Bramwell. He's decided, you know what, let's get some ground forces on here. Unfortunately, we already know that Esby has come down here because he distance built their factory, and lo and behold, there we go. This is Melis coming down, killing off an engineer before it can finish the mass extractor. And that is going to be something they're going to need to be cautious of. We see a drop over this way. Got a few labs onto the land. They have come down from, coming from Kremble, and they are now ready to wander on over and start taking out a mass extractor at 80. Wow, that's going to be a hell of a loss. That thing was 85, almost 90% upgraded. That is a loss not only of the mass extractor itself, but also about 900 mass, if I remember how much it cost to upgrade these damn things. Second T2, yeah, 900 mass. That was a 85%, so that is about 800 mass lost because that upgrade did not complete, and that is a huge blow. This early on in the game, you don't have a lot of eco to deal with. Right, we have Bramwell is doing great things on the ground here, and he's actually found out his T1 ID has enough range to hit the mass extractors up here. Doesn't finish it off. One more shell was needed for that thing to die, but it survives. And we're going to see one more shell be launched. Maybe, maybe not, but along comes the commander. Hear it. They're not shooting at things, and these guys are going to get cleaned up by that. Unlucky. Right, Agista came out, and that has cleaned up the labs mighty fine. Nothing says anti-lab like Agista. Factory down here is well under attack. I don't think that sub's going to finish, as the frigate has position to damage it. As it builds, although it does finish off, it actually gets into the water. 90 health left on the thing, but not going to do much else than to tickle these frigates a little bit while the factory dies a slow and horrible death from frigate fire there. But there is still going to be Ismo out of the water on that side of things. He's already got engineers up here ready to build his own naval factories there, which is what he's going to have to do to try and get in touch. A couple of jesters have turned up, and they're going to be picking off some lobos. They're going to meet with some anti-air in the form of the interceptors. They won't last long, but now there's 2 people on this island. That is a traversable ramp, so there's a substantial ground threat possible if they build up here and move over, which is exactly what's happening up this way. You can see Bramwell's doing all the work on here. His opponent is... oh, it's right there actually. Correct opponent is there, so T1 PD has been slapped up by... that is Sandnak. He is helping out Esmo Noob. He does need a bit of help, especially with what is going on. T180 rolls up and dies to point defense and tanks. Another one rolls up, is going to suffer the same fate if he keeps on doing that, but they're going to want some T180 to take care of the point defense. Do they know it's there? Well, they do now, and in fact T1 bombers do exactly the same job. They're having to go at the factory, not a bad idea. They'll drop the bombs on top and they will stop whatever is currently producing out of that. Okay, let's have a gander at the rest of the stuff. We do have some interceptors to take care of those bombers. They're going to track back on those. Bombers are busy though, they are changing up and they're going for the point defense. And some good bombing there, that is going to do some decent damage. There was a T1RD in the location as well. Just needs one more pass and that will be down. There we go, there it is. The PD is down and now it's going to be free for all these units to roll in. There's not much to stop them. Single T1RD rolled off there. Got some engineers moving out this way, but I don't think that land incursion is going to last a heck of a lot longer. This submarine has got itself a kill. So good times for him, and there we go, didn't see And Ismo's just going straight for T2 Navy. Why bother with T1, he says. I'm going for T2. Which he kind of needs to do because his opponent right here has T2 as well, and he's rolling off a submarine of his own. Wants to clean this little guy out. Feel sorry for him. So this is a drop full of Lobos. That is a transport full of 6 Lobos ready to go somewhere. Just waiting for the opportune moment, I would wager. Maybe once the air gets engaged, they can maybe try and sneak around the back here. There's not much to stop them. No anti-air around the edges here. With a few engineers, but that's really it. And there we go. The transport is on the way. That's what Miles has done. He's come back over this way, deciding to use his comm to take out these factories. Because honestly, Bramwell has been a pain in the buttocks with them. But he is outproduced on the land here by all of these factories. Not really going to have much of a chance to clean that up. Drops in the corner on its way. Here is 100% distracted in the middle here, trying to stop all this. Because they really do need to stop all that. The ground incursion is going to be bad, but the drop is going to be worse. Has been spotted by an anti-air turret a little bit too close, but not kind of close, but not too close. You know what I mean? They have landed and the Lobos are away, but in come T1 bombers, some nice red shots around there, and grouped up T1 RT goes down with a bang. Nice work on the bomber response. 4 bombers spreading out the bombs, hitting 1, 2, 3, 4 locations, just all the napalm, nowhere for those guys to hide. Okay, down here these tanks have turned up and they have finished off the Stain factory, and I can imagine this one's going to be next. Yeah, there's some Zuis coming off that, but they're not going to last too much longer. Once those tanks move in, the tanks don't want to sit still though, because Zui fire will do bad things to them at range, although we sit still while there's tanks roaming around, suffer the same fates, except for the land has been terraformed thanks to the placement of that factory. Flattened, but Zui go pop. And Zui gets reclaimed as well, although the tanks now pop up top, and this can be the end of them. Okay, that factory is gone. It's going to be a ground hold for Team 1, just as the other side is a ground hold for Team 2. So everybody back on their respective islands, but these are T1 bombers and they are doing nasty things to build power. There were a whole lot of engineers, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 or so engineers up here all died from T1 bombers. That is not what you want to see if you're the ones that own those T1 engineers. Right, things go a wee bit quiet. Let's just have a quick nosy at the eco as we go. It is fairly even, 205 to 180 overall, 85k to 81, so a slight advantage to Team 1 here in regards to the mass side of things. The eco is just slightly higher. Serve them well as long as they can hold on to that eco. T2 in the water, there is a torpedo boat, so concerned about submarines as well they might be, because there's 4 of them in water down here, but that Cooper's going to have a grand old time killing those things off. Does have anti-torps of course, but I think 4 subs maybe just a little too much for it. But they have retreated because there's more coming in the form of a destroyer, which killed those off pretty handily. Bombs away, bombs do nothing. I think they're trying for the Cooper, which dodges grandly. Nice little circle there, and those bombs just impact on the water, doing absolutely nothing. More frigates are turning up, and they will be able to help identify just how to remove bombers from the air. They are T1 bombers, so T1 swarms of T1 frigates will do great things to them. No need to bring in interceptors when you've got that much in the water. And the Cooper lives. 500 health doing the circles to avoid the T1 bombers, and now all this is under threat. There is the destroyer, of course, as well as the frigate, and I think we're going to see these get wiped out of the water. That would not be a bad result for Team 1. They can remove some of the naval presence from Team number 2. That will be very, very handy indeed. However, there is a destroyer coming out from Kemple, and we see down here that Miles, however you say that name, he's got into the water as well. A couple of factories for him, and they are a building. But up here, this is going to go down. Factory 1 and Factory 2 very shortly after, although they do want to keep moving because it'll be free damage from this destroyer. Otherwise, what's it shooting at? Shooting at that guy. This is all gone. Right, destroyer out, and just destroyer versus destroyer with some frigate backup. A couple of subs in the mix, but they're not going to do a heck of a lot. And I'm sorry, did he just capture that instead of reclaiming? Apparently he did. Really capturing it does something? I don't know. I've got no idea why he would decide to capture that, but capture it he has. Right, Navy down here then, it is just going to be content with just trying to destroy infrastructure. But this is a pretty high plateau, and as we know, and as we say on this cast here, fuck the ground. Nobody likes the ground, so fuck that. Takes a good amount of damage, and instead down here we have a destroyer successfully bombarding stuff, getting the right angle on some mass extractors, and those things are going to die quite easily. This Navy needs to think about moving on, particularly over this way, and trying to stop this from becoming an issue. Is T2 Factory not doing anything? That's unexpected. Maybe he's working on ego? But nothing to be happening with that factory is a mild curiosity. Alright, in comes the cruiser. And we have seen, oh, there's the destroyer. It is being focused down by some torpedo bombers, just to be really irritating. And now here we go. That's not hover, that is UEF. There's no Aeon, so that is just UEF units. They cannot hover, they're going to be fine, but now we have two destroyers out for cripple, and they are going to face off against all of this. That's a bad place to leave your cruiser. It could get primaried at a moment's notice by the destroyers, and it will go down very, very quickly. Look at that. Much weaker, and this is going to be the end of the T2 here. Or it's soaking the damage for the moment, but as soon as they're gone, this destroyer is going to follow suit. Plenty of damage done to that Valiant while the frigates have been focused down. And is that cruiser by? That is. They've got a cruiser back here, and it is lobbing its long-range missiles over that way. What have we got over here? Well, we have engineer being bombed, and that leaves a small bit of reclaim from the Black Sun building. Is that another drop attempt? What was a drop attempt from Ismanub? He's trying to do something. A small group of units. I don't think they're going to get much done compared to all of this. Really not going to. And these two destroyers still active and hunting. They're hunting against frigates and a cruiser. They're going to have a good time doing that. Really for Team 1, should they not get some destroyers in the mix? But hello! Trying to get into the board up here was Esby. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 factories planned, but yeah, a couple of Coopers turn up, and that is going to be the end of that. These engineers are absolutely done for, followed by the factories themselves, I would wager, though a frigate does get out. And let's just kind of see what happens there. Well, if they're focusing on the wrong thing, these Coopers are going to die a slow and horrible death to a single frigate, because they are not very good health-wise when it comes to being shot on the base. Really need to get focused down on that frigate right away before things go badly. Trying to kill off the factories, one would imagine, but let's just see what kind of damage. Holy mother of torpedo bombers. That's a dead Cooper. Absolutely a dead Cooper. And Coopers do have torpedo defense, but there's just too many to deal with, and the frigate shooting them in the face. That is very much a dead Cooper. Quite a dead frigate. Plenty of damage, but not dead. Okay, Navy pushed up, but now is having to fall back, so that is Crimple not being able to continue with this kind of pushing there. And back into the Navy is Esmanub. If we can get that to T2, he could do some serious damage. Maybe get a surprise Navy push into there, but some T1 air, plenty of bombers. I do wonder if they could come over this way and cause absolute havoc on all the spillway. Have a look at that. If you're aware of that, you would be wanting to bomb that. Absolutely. If you knew there were like 20, 30, about 30 plus, I just need to know. 45 T1 NGs all clumped up like that. Get some T1 bombers over there and they will have a field day, just destroying all of that at once. Scouts need to be repositioned because they are just simply dying off to T1 AA. Completely useless, not getting any extra intel. Want to either fly behind on the edge or move out to the front a little bit more. But these bombers versus those would be an absolute win. Hover has come out from SB. So he's like, you know what? Hover's good, isn't it? And Hover is good at murdering engineers. That's a whole lot of engineers lost. That really irritating Hover. There is a destroyer in here, but it's sitting still under Lobo fire. Doesn't want to be doing that, although the frigates and everything turn up and wreak havoc on those ground units. Once again, have torpedo bombers come sliding over. That is Miles helping thin out the numbers, takes down a destroyer, and I think a healthy call now was to consider moving some of these over this way to take out these factories before they build more boats, although they're not actually producing at the moment, so SB is focusing his eco elsewhere. Factories have been discovered and the cruiser has decided to move on over to say g'day. So it's going to run afoul of, well, nothing really, because it's going to move back. They have seen it, haven't they? Yes, they have. So it's on radar, so they know it's there. Compare that to the other side of things. No radar. They don't know what's there. And the Navy moves on back from Grimple. Doesn't want to let Ismo noob into the water down here, because that would be very irritating. Having to fight Navy on two prongs. It's a bit of a choke right here. Units have to try and get through the gap. They don't succeed, of course. They get caught out by a lot of direct fire, and I don't know about the choice of Coopers. I'm just saying that now, although you might want Coopers if you meet up with Seraphim T3 subs. Seraphim T3 submarines, the strongest subs in the game, of course, being the only T3 sub that is made as a combat type as opposed to a strategic submarine, and when they are at range, they can absolutely demolish other units quite heavily. Very long range torpedoes and quite a bit of damage. Alright, some T2 PD down here. This is, well, these are Cerberus deciding that the ground is totally not their friend. A few stray shots do get out, but honestly not enough. And really they are defeated by the, just because they are direct fire, they don't shoot over things or under things, and they just shoot the ground a heck of a lot. Of zappers back here trying to be useful, but there's just too many attacks coming in for them to really handle. Just going to get worse at this rate. There's no TMD along the front at all for Ismanoob, and this Navy is just going to be a problem. It's just going to be a huge problem. I'm wondering what his move here is going to be. He's focusing all his eco on the Navy, but I wonder what kind of range would we don't have T2 engineers. Well, there they are, T2 Engies. What kind of range T2 Ida would have? Well, he'd need to get down here. He needs to get down here for it to be effective, and that's not going to happen too easily. I thought maybe he could bring it up. Could do a tech missile bank, lob some techs directly at the factory and just knock it out. It's a possibility, but speaking of tech missiles, there is a lot of eco dying to these cruisers, and of course you don't get the reclaim either, because there are so many missiles coming in that by the time the item they're firing at is dead, the rest of the missiles catch up and destroy all of the reclaim. You have a look. It's dead. There's 670, 580, 490, 400, and the reclaim is gone. They stopped firing ages ago, but there's just that many missiles still in the air. They have a lot left to destroy, and that is a problem for Esmanoob. He is getting absolutely slaughtered on the coast, but you compare that to his opponent and he's been left alone. Which brings up the question, why? All it takes is a couple of cruisers, just send them over this way, their attack missiles will go over and just start killing off all the eco quite heavily, and that really needs to happen, because right now that's exactly what's happening over here. We have 4 cruisers and they are simply demolishing everything Esmo. And what can he do is a question? Well, not much. Gonna throw down a shield generator. Feels like he's gonna need it. He's also gonna need a lot more TMD. So he's got the 2 here trying to contest with 4 cruisers. It's not gonna happen. So he needs to figure out how to defend against that pretty damn quickly. In the meantime, he has lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mass extractors all over here, and that is a huge blow to his eco. He is now the lowest, has the lowest income in the entire game. Some T2 engines here are spamming up some more TMD, which he desperately needs. and a shield to protect these ones while the TMD tries to do their job. It's not a bad idea. But he's definitely got problems, and he's also facing with the brunt of the Navy. Not so good for him. Definitely needs assistance from his teammates, and he's going to need it soon, and that's not great. All these TAC missiles focusing down on the TMD, and you can see they just simply cannot keep up with the number of TACs that are coming in. Trying their best, but there's just far too many, and just look at these get turned into mush. These TACs are just far too much for them to work on, and still just the 4 cruisers. Not a good sign. Noob is going to be dropping eco as soon as that is all done. He's got the shield up, of course. Maybe we're going to get some more TMD over here. Needs it in bulk to take down all of the TAC missiles that come on in. But he's going to lose this mass extractor as well. Exact same scenario. Many missiles approaching, and all the reclaim will disappear. Engineer sitting off the edge from Greenpool. Maybe it's going to go for some reclaim of its own. Maybe it's going to start building a factory. Who knows? But there is a TMD spam trying to get on up. Not enough. More shields, more TMD, and he's stuck in this ever increasing TMD loop. Ismo Noob trying to keep his base alive with TAC missiles, TAC defense against TAC missiles, and generally that is a difficult thing because TAC missiles tend to do better, especially when the TMD is dying faster than it can be built, because it's not under the shields. Oh dear. 4 TMD against 4 cruisers, and the 4 cruisers are going to win it. They're just simply putting out too many TAC missiles, so that is a problem for there. He basically needs to stop this. Stop your navy, get your base defended, do anything. Try and keep things alive. There's just far too many TAC missiles coming in. There we go, more death and destruction. Bunch of engineers down, and brutality. Hydro is next. Not looking good on there. Over the side, we're still not seeing any hostile cruisers from Healthy, so no pressure on SB whatsoever, and I think he's been left to eco up, which is a poor idea. He's got a few TMD around this island, but all this could be taken down. And with enough cruiser power, you can penetrate all that as well. They're quite spread out. Just have a look at what happened to Ismo Noob. He has been demolished. It is very demoralizing. But what are you going to do? What can you do? Open up a transport. I wonder where that's going to go. Got some engineers heading down this way. They're just doing reclaim order, picking up as much as they can while they can before everything gets lost. I do wonder what the transport's for. Is there some reclaim field we don't know about? Maybe he plans to drop in here and try and reclaim what he can, but he's currently on that. Harms are in the water from Sadnak. Well, I don't think they're useful there. I think they need to be put further this way, which is exactly what he's done. He's got T3NG with harm being placed up. As his contribution to the water war, harms is not a bad choice. It will very much take care of things there. And had T3 air. Esmo Noob had T3 air. He could be doing all sorts of things. There we go. Transport for his commander. Where's he going with that? I imagine he's going to retreat. There we go, he's off. But his base is just getting picked apart gradually, piece by piece. Eco's dropping down. As soon as that goes away, he's 18. He's going to be right into early level styles simply because of 4 uncontested cruisers. There is the comparison. Not great for Esmo Noob, and you have a look. Somehow, despite Esmo Noob's base being demolished and completely been gone, Team 1 is still ahead on Nico. Just, I say just, but they are still ahead. And the question is, what can Esmo Noob do from here? The answer is not a heck of a lot. Loyalists would be a great call, although there is no T3 land for Sadnak. Nope, no T3 land whatsoever. Nothing you can do on that front. But Loyalists would be interesting. They could come in here, they could start trying to deflect some of these tech missiles straight back at those cruisers, because that'd be fun. Right. Safe at front, they say. Well, I suppose they are safe at front. They've got a couple of few destroyers loitering around, but that's a battle cruiser. Are they really safe at front with a battle cruiser loitering around? I mean, there is a harm, or a few harms back here, but that battle cruiser is just going to start demolishing T2 at distance. They cannot compete with the battle cruiser without T3 of their own. And what is left of Eco's base? Ismo's noobs. Oh, Eco's base. Ismo's base is turned to rubble. All his mass income is from basically this one mass extractor, 9 income there, and then passive income from NGs. Oh, we have one mass extractor down here as well. Not grand. Alright, Battlecruiser is doing wonderful things against the opponents. Have a look at that, it has lit up everything here, sitting under shields, getting support from T2, and all of that is just simply gone. Look at the amount of fire that's coming in on that spot. Whatever was sitting there, well, it was a harm. Getting built by some T3 NGs, no doubt, but the NGs are dead and nothing doing there, and now all of this is free to do its own thing. Well, what's the call? Battleships? Nope, more cruisers coming up for Kimpel, and there we go, the Navy has moved up this way from Healthy Core. Probably doesn't need the rest of the Navy, only really needs the cruisers over here to start lobbing their shells over. They can start killing off Eco, all the Eco focus down on things like this, kill off the engines before they can get too much. T3 wouldn't be a bad plan. Switch up to T3 Naval Factory, definitely need T3 Navy because they've got T3 Navy. Right there, and that's a drop also from Milas, a bunch of engineers. He is wanting to try and grab all of the reclaim. Well, we're just going to build factories. I was going to say there's not much reclaim left because there isn't. The cruisers just keep lobbing their missiles and it all keeps dying, and reality is that Esmo Noob is kind of out of the game. Doesn't have anything left to stop all of that. Big push up the mid from Krimpel, moving up with his destroyers under the shield boats of his teammate Esby, and they are wrecking anything that's loitering over here. We have torpedo bombers out in huge numbers. That's the battleship though. Torpedo bombers go straight for the harms because nobody likes harms except for those who play Cybran and get to use them, but the battleship is going to be incredibly useful if we can figure out which way to turn its turrets. At the moment it is sitting on no DBS because it is just pointing the wrong way. There we go, some shots out at last. If we can focus down the battlecruiser would be the best idea. That is the biggest threat. Leave all the small stuff to everything else and kill what you can there. Still got 3 harms in the water. They're going to be a godsend. We're hoping to control that location. And indeed, drop came down and factories have been spammed up. That is a bunch of T1 factories and more on the way. There's going to be units coming along to say good day to basically everything over here. And there is a T1 PD, but T1 RD is a solid counter to that. It's not going to last long. In fact, they didn't even know it's there. They know it's there by scouting, probably. Anyway, that is T1 RD doing this thing. Going to kill off anything there, and up on the plateau as well. T1 RD looting around the place. They're going to be able to pick off all of this TMD that is going to put in place to try and help. What good times. Alright, what few tanks Esmonu has on there are going to go RD hunting. Maybe they can kill off a few of those before they die horribly. But the reality is there's just simply too many on the ground to dodge the shots and maybe kill the engineers. There's also too many factories. There are now 2 battleships out. We have a Galaxy and a Summit. That is going to be far too much for a Neptune to take on. They're going to promptly eviscerate that with their main guns. Say good day. You want to say good day. Battleship versus battlecruisers. No prize for guessing who wins that battle. Battlecruiser needs to fall back. And fall back it does. Takes a few more shells, but doesn't fall back fast enough, and it has been sunk. How's things going up this way? Well, Shields and TMD and Bulk have done a better job against the cruisers Need more. More cruisers. Overwhelm spots like this and just gradually work your way down. Get your destroyers over this way to lob some shells to help take down the shields, and you'll be in good hands. Plenty of scouts, and there's a couple of broadswords on the ground. Not where you need them. You definitely want these to be in the air, else they're just going to be gradually killed. Oh, broadswords dying to T1 Arty. That is horribly embarrassing. Get it off the ground. That's... oh, there we go. It finally lifts off down into the red, well into the red, almost died. Battleship shots landing in a good location. But look at this, even though he has just captured these mass extractors, he is very confident, his old Mills, that he can actually upgrade these to T2, which he's done, and plenty of flak to encourage those broadswords to try their luck elsewhere. Elsewhere is where they go. In the middle is still kind of static on here, plenty of reclaim to be had. If you can get some engineers out onto this absolute mass field, 30,000 mass here ready to go. There are some engineers which are trying to do just that. As long as they keep moving, they'll be okay. And all of this is wanted to be over here. Well, send the bricks back this way, but send your destroyers over here just to knock down the shields. So help these cruisers get through. There's only 2 of them. They're not going to get any headway against that many TMD. Going to be good at all. More battleships, and we have a battle cruiser as well. That's going to be a good amount of DPS trying to slow this down. Battle cruiser pushes on up. The shields are gone. Or at least those shields are gone. And now the fire can come on, but more shield boats turn up from Esby, just wanting to do his part to help the front. Nothing but shield boats really helping out from regards to health. Of course, things like this, battle cruiser pushing forward to the edge of the shields does not help. In fact, it's going to be out of the shields at the moment, and you got to start taking some brutal amounts of damage to the face once those shields drop. So much on the ground. Zoos are pushing on forwards, and they're about to discover that some torpedo bombers are completely ineffective against them. Even if they're on the water, they hover, so they're not going to do anything, and T1 bombers will be the better shout. Down here it is Esmo Noob trying to build up his eco. He's got a T3 P-Gen just about done. Being surrounded by T2 mass fabs, he really needs to do this to just try and have any chance of getting back into the game. And T1 ID doing as T1 ID does, edge firing, trying to kill off all this TMD. There's a whole lot of it, which has really been a pain in the proverbial. Where's my lesson? Whoa, where'd that come from? Nuke. So, Ramel has built a nuke, and he's going over here. That's a curious one. I'm guessing he's trying to kill as much of this eco as possible, or he's edge launching for this SMD over here. But having looked at the way they're running, it's not loaded. How far does it reach? Yeah, I think he was edge bombing just to avoid this one, which turns into a decent drop, but it does not kill the HQ. That's right, it's only a T2 HQ compared to the T3 down here. Actually kills the SMD of Esby, so he's having a few issues on that front. Over here we can see those Zoos are having a grand old time. Going to be able to kill a Sam, which has a bunch of kills to its name, plus some eco. As an SACU, he's going to ruin their day, along with a Renegade. Renegade with the area of effect is a huge help. Just looking to kill multiple things at once. 8 kills already for that guy, 14, and just look at a Venerous go up with the amount of extra damage that AoE is causing. Navy not looking so great. It actually kind of looks like it's been routed, and a push could be on for Team 1. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 5 battleships, 6. Count them on back here, they're stuck, plus some frigate support, and they could actually take control of these waters. Nothing much stopping them. There's a cruiser back here, a couple of shield boats. This is now T3 Naval Factory, and it is starting to work on those sub-hunters. Those really, really irritating sub-hunters that nobody likes, except the people using them. But they are going to be a tide turner because battleships have no defense against those. Arms, of course, would have defense against those. It's pretty good when it comes to sub hunters. And are we making any headway over here whatsoever? Well, no, not really. Still not enough cruisers. And now there's T2RD, which is impacting on the shields. I think it's time to give up on that spot because you just simply don't have enough cruisers. He needed to like 2 or 3 times the number of cruisers in there. He's only got 2 of his own, plus 1 from his teammate. Never going to work. Never going to work against 3 shields and that amount of TMD. Give it up, get some destroyers, get some battleships, and that would clean it up. But here we go, attack missiles dropping on in. They're saying hello to the water. And torpedo bombers, a huge number of torpedo bombers flying over. What kind of air response is there from team number 1? The answer is nothing. They really need these cruisers up front to take care of these torpedo bombers. These frigates need to get on in and start killing off the eco, but too many torps, sorry, eco build power. Kill off the engineers, do some damage there, but there's too many torpedoes. There is a Yathsu, a strange name to say, but it's T3 sub hunter, and that is going to be problematic at best. Alright, battleships say hello, Neptunes, battle cruisers say goodbye. So that looks like a bit of a drop thanks to the torpedo bombers now focusing down the battleships. Where are the cruisers? Oh, they're back here in the wrong location. And that is going to be, these torpedo bombers are going to have a grand old time doing as much damage as they can. I think this battleship here is the one that's being focused down. Yes, indeed it is. And it's going to die. Popped range of a bunch of T2 arty as well, so not only that. How does that reach? There we go. Reaches all the way to here, and these 2 battleships are in danger. Would outrange those T2RD with some summits. I believe, if I remember correctly, they actually have the longest range in the game of all the battleships, just slightly longer than their friends over there. It's that Naval. Another nuke out. Where's that going? Whose nuke was it? That belongs to... It's back here. So that is a nuke out from Emma, and it's... I believe I saw the icon over here somewhere, so it is actually going for the Navy production, and that could be an awful thing. Some labs have decided to try and turn the tide of the Zui artillery, and they very well could, because they're nice and fast. And yes indeed, the nuke is landing here right in the middle of all the factories. How many is it going to kill? Well, it's going to kill the HQ for Sadnak, but the one for Ramel lives on. Trying to get a Fat Boy done. Well, the Fat Boy might be alright trying to take out Naval. The problem is it's pretty big, it's pretty slow. We'll get demolished by T2RD, and cruisers will help knock down the shields. Right. I never got the chance to see what kind of range. So there we go. Their Gauss cannon direct fire. They have 150 range, which does put them solidly longer range than T2RD, which is 128. So, of all the battleships, Summits have the most range and they can outrange T2RD. But this is a lot of sub-hunters. A lot of sub-hunters, 5 of those, and look at them just peel the health off that battleship as it tries to run away. It really needs to get a move on, but is getting stuck on everything. Question is, when are these harms going to open up? There's only, well, I say only, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, there's a whole bunch of harms. I take that back. There's lots of harms, so at the moment these guys come over the threshold. What kind of distance are we talking about? There we go. They've moved into range already, and another nuke out. This one, well, this nuke defense is loaded. I'm guessing they've edged it once more. It's not loaded. We'll just keep half an eye on that, just make sure it actually lands and explodes. Going to cause itself a bit of havoc. Presuming this one is not going to knock it out of the sky. It is not. That nuke's going to land. We're going to say goodbye to all of this. Ah, boom. Oh, and actually catches Esby right at the edge of the nuke as well. Maybe he thought he was safe because he was under the umbrella of his teammates. He seemed to be back there, but in reality he was not quite out of range, and that is a giant gap now. That is a lucky pick for team number 1, and that has helped them even up the eco from everything that was lost here. But still trying to push with all these units. We're going to have a bad time though, because there's a strap bomber flying overhead. If I can turn around and drop its bomb on something, otherwise it's going to fly into a swarm of ASFs. I shoot at a couple of them, but they don't take off. That's lucky. Here comes the bomb. Here it is. Watch all of these die. Could have bombed better, but 17 kills with 1 pass. That's alright. I can think of worse. Some Coopers push up, and that is really advised when there's battlecruiser support. And these sub-hunters are going to demolish those guys quite happily all day, every day, should they try and get too close there. Strap bomber comes back, picks up another 9 kills. May circle around for another fight, but it's starting to get a worrying amount of T1 up here. Though we have some T2 ground in the form of pillars from Naval, as well as a support commander, and it's going to pop down some triads, and that'll be grand for closing out. Strap bomb gets another bomb away. 57 kills now. Was it worth it? Nobody knows. But that triad is going to go up, and that is going to be a start thinning out the numbers over here. That herd is going to get cold pretty darn quickly. Let's have a look at Esmanoob, and honestly, still working on that eco. It's about all he's got. Get some power, get some mass fabs. Has still got the T3 factory here, so he's not completely out of things at this point. But obviously, he's struggling to be relevant in this game. Has dropped an engineer over this way and is building up a factory. Going to get a bunch of reclaim. That's absolutely going to help me. He knows what to do. Just a question of being able to do it. Battleship back here, it could actually move a bit closer and start doing extra damage up this front. So having said that, there is a T2 arty. Doesn't want to get too close to that. And Rammel finishes the Bat Boy just in time. He could bring that over this way and start murderifying everything over here. Do really damage to all of that. Wants to stay out of range of things like this though. Battleships will decimate a Fat Boy if it gets in range. What is the range of Fat Boy? Can go Fat Boy please. Right. We have range 100. Range is much shorter than a battleship. Like, battleship has 50% extra range. That is a nuke out from Emma. Emma's sending another one. He says, anything you can do, I can do better. And he is going to pop that nuke into, oh, that is an awful location for team number 1. That is, all of these harms are going to have a terrible time. And this may just open up the door for these sub-hunters to push in and do some extra damage. Where's the other nuke? Well, there it is. It has gone out. Is it going to actually make it through? Is it going to land? No, it's not. There's an SMD right there. It was loaded, it fired, and that actually keeps this alive. But as we mentioned, the other nuke from Team 2, from Emma, it has impacted in an incredibly well-selected spot. All but one of those harms are dead. And not even any reclaim to be had because it's a nuke. It's all just smoke and death. Now would be the ideal time for these to push. Absolutely ideal. There's nothing to stop them. Fat Boy down this way. It is demolishing all this T1. No surprise. Getting support from T2 pillars, and I feel that this is a limited time situation for all this to be alive. But there are some broadswords. Broadswords there. They will be able to do some good damage to a Fat Boy that does this thing. And there we go. Navy. Nope. Oh, hello. Sorry, that's blue. That is Sadnak. He's popped some units up there, and now there's T1 Arty doing the rounds. They are moving on up. They are lobbing shells. They could lob shells over this way. That would be a fantastic location to do it. Though it seems as though TAC missiles are the order of the day. Plenty of cruisers have turned out they're going to cause problems. But if he could pull large numbers of T1 Arty over this way, honestly, they should. And they should just rock on over. There we go. They've got the move order. And now they can start bombing all this. Free Willy. Oh. They killed the SMD. Did not even notice that there used to be a fully loaded SMD there. It is not fully loaded anymore. Neither is this one, although it is very close to actually completing. Should be alright. But all these guys, they can now just at will. There we go, shield is down, more shells are going to go out, we're going to see the death of these, which is exactly what they're after. But the Navy, as we said, it was the ideal time for these to push in, and they've done exactly that. They have cleared out the harms. Some torpedo bombers, there we go, that would be ideal for the situation, and torpedo bombers there are. Not enough of them. You can maybe get the Fat Boy, tell it to ground fire. I don't know if these shells will have enough area of effect to damage those, although having said that, they're pretty close to the surface, and I'm reasonably certain those shells would impact and cause issues. Medusas. More Medusas. More T1 arty fire. More shield collapsation to be had. And just look at that drain. Kill that spot and you'll be a happy, happy man. Yep, Fat Boy indeed starts with the ground fire, and we are seeing some damage coming down on these sub-hunters. They're going to have to leave to stay out. But now, as far as Navy goes, there is literally just Heathygore who can do something about it for team number 1. He's the only one actually still in the water with any kind of decent presence. He does have that up there. Question is, does he have SMD nearby? Well, he's got his own nuke actually, so he's like, never mind that stuff. Just going to get our own nuke. And T1 RD up here trying to do T1 RD things, but running into a Rambo com. I'm actually surprised he can shoot that angle. That's managing it. Seems kind of bollocky. Let's shoot through there. It does have overcharge, but overcharge hits the ground, yeah? Couldn't have got through, but apparently it did. Anyway, we have support commanders dying somewhere at a huge rate. Don't know where, maybe they're under the water. But either way, now all this reclaim is getting scooped up by team number 2, and that is really going to help their case. There's another nuke. Oh, double nuke coming out. That could be enough to get past this. There is a one SMD loaded there. There's that one that's just been built, does not have anything. Was there any other nuke defense around the area? Because that is a counter nuke coming out from Emma. One nuke gets stopped. This nuke is going to land, and that's a huge amount of T2RD down. So massive amounts of T2RD. Oh my, that was a big beach hit. And the Navy gets nuked. A bit of an edge shot there, but now what is in the water to stop these? Not a heck of a lot. We definitely want some torpedo bombs to come over and kill these off. There are some T2 launches here. They're going to have some effect, but not a grand amount. Yeah, a number of torpedoes though should see off these sub-hunters if they loiter too closely, which I think they have a little bit. There we go, their health drains off too much for them to use their torpedo defense for. But speaking of torpedoes, holy mother of monkey milk, that is a huge amount from Emma once again. So he has embraced the air game something beautifully, and he has done incredible things. And now all this is under threat from a Navy push. Fat Boy has been caught in a bad location, does have some torpedoes, but honestly they're pretty piddly weak. Its main strength is being on the ground where it can unload with its guns. Up here, these T1 RDs still alive and kicking is exactly what they're doing. They are trying to knock out everything here. As the shields drop, they get a chance to do some damage, and they're still not killing this. Need to kill. Murder that off, and we'll have a good old time. Looks like they're trying to focus on everything else, so maybe they can kill off the S&D, let some more nukes through. Would be... Bramwell finishes another Fat Boy just in time, and watch those shells come out and just start decimating the population of cruisers over here. Other Fat Boy comes out of the water and they're all dead. They're just going to be demolished. Strats, those are strats. Who are they going for? They're going for a beeline for Healthy Core, who is under a single, no, he's under two shields. Strats go overhead, and a whole bunch go down at once. So, not sure what happened to them. Not seeing much in the way of anti-air at all. There's like, oh, sorry, there they are. But the Strats come back for another run, and there is extra damage onto Healthy Core. Is he going to survive this? The answer is yes. ASF come over from Sandneck, they help clean it up, but Healthy Core wants to think about putting out some more shields as soon as humanly possible. that is the death of a support commander because it stood still while fire rained down upon it from Zui's. Definitely not what you want to be doing over there. Fatboy needs to come back and help clean up all of this. There's some T3 mobile ID now coming out there. So that's T3 land somewhere down here. There it is. T3 land factory. Not even the HQ. The HQ is going to be back over here somewhere. They can now spit out T3 units, which is incredibly not useful. So the Port Rambo Com is trying to get around and find a way to get up here. But of course we know that to be a plateau, which it cannot. Hello. I thought I could hear a strategic sub. And there it is. Those tech missiles have got a nice big long range to them. Look how far it's gotten. Over here to do extra damage on that front. And transport loads up. Gonna drop some of those down, but gets mulched by a huge amount of flak. That was a bold idea. Did not really come off. Might as well think about shifting to T2 and throwing out some mobile missile launchers. They could do some extra damage on there. And then get some T2 engineers perhaps and think about T2 ID. Would absolutely take out this HQ, which is really what they need to do. They can get some tech up on the shelf, and if they can launch that, I'm sure they must have tech because that is TMD. That's a T2. Where is your T2 engineers? Something has built those, and this is a wasted nuke. There's nothing left here. That's gonna die. Plenty of T1 ID doing their thing. It's all dead. That nuke's gonna get nothing. It should have gone down here. Healthy Core has been defeated by Control K. Don't know if it was Control K. I think he was under fire. There we go, under fire from a Summit class battleship. He just needed to nuke somewhere before he died by the sound of it. I don't think that was the right choice. Could have been anywhere, like even over here. Knocking out all of that, or perhaps too much S&D around the place. There's another nuke launcher being popped up there. Does have S&D, there it is. 4 missiles sitting in that thing. Maybe he could have nuked all of that. That might have worked, and we see the Rambo Com has made its way here. Getting tickled down by a T2 transport. It's going to take forever to get through those shields. I don't even know if it can, but it's not going to get much done. Okay, up on the plateau here, very safe support commander. Plenty of anti-air around it, but exposed for things like that. Nuke comes on over, gets knocked out by SMD there from Bramall. So he is quite safe on that front. And finally, down this way, the Fat Boy is doing its job. It has killed all sorts of things, got 167 kills to its name. It's a very happy Fat Boy, getting lots of work done. Okay, but right now, extra 200 eco per tick for Team 2, yet they're still behind in total eco, so there must have been a whole lot of reclaim going on for Team 1 to keep all of that up and running. And here comes the torpedo storm. I wonder, could they? They could have got crippled with that. But the torpedo bombs are doing a thing. They have been countering shields though, and get a lot less done than they should. If they'd known Grimple was standing in the water here, quite happy to just stay there, they could have. They scouted them. I think those torpedo bombers could have easily killed him. He's a fair distance from land, and you'd have to walk uphill as well. I don't know if that would count for much of an issue, but honestly, I think they could have killed him. Scout that, and they would have died. As this, the torpedo bombers tried to do things over this way. They knocked down some shields, but they haven't really done much else, because those shields took a huge amount of punishment. Bad boy over here, though, it is going to get strat bombed actually. Bunch of strat bombs go flying over here. Down go the shields. There's a huge amount of flak with it, and don't see mobile shields though. And now there's broadswords, but watch the broadswords just get demolished by so much flak. So much flak, but the Fat Boy itself is almost dead. Oh, Fat Boy gonna go down first. Broads are gonna survive. Take some battleship shots. There we go. So bang bang from this guy, and that is probably the most of the damage compared to the broadsword. A lot of damage comes off those battleships. Right now, if you're Team 1, I'm thinking that the only option you've got left is to try and find commanders like this guy sitting in the water and to kill him off. Do we have any other comms in the water? Support. They're both. 2 commanders in the water, and I'm honestly going to say, scout them, find them, and torpedo them. They would go down. And especially because these are the two main Navy guys, and that's a beautiful nuke, by the way. There is a huge amount of destruction. Everything down there, a couple of sub-hunters left, but otherwise everything is gone. That's going to relieve the pressure. A huge amount from these guys, and up here we see Esmo Noob's trying to get back into the game. He's getting his eco back up for rebuilding T3 mass extractor up here because he can. Plenty of reclaim to get as well. He could start slooping up some of this to help supplement that. He has a good amount of power back here for T3 P-Gens, although he has got a lot of mass fabs around that to help. But anything at the moment to help his team and get back into things. Really want some tick up here. You have plenty of... Now get your transports and ferry. Get your transports and ferry these down. Honestly, exactly what happened. So many T1 RDs. Have a look at this. Over 100 T1 RT doing nothing. What's on the ground to stop them? Well, now there's T2 artillery down here, and that's exactly what it can do. They can start lobbing their shells up this way, and we're going to see the end of all of this thanks to these guys. Transport would have been ideal. Get these down here and just have them launch off. But now we're seeing some T2. Well, Janus will murderify T1 happily all day, every day. There is some flak in there, but maybe not enough. T2 bombers out again doing their thing, but again focusing on the wrong targets. There's not really much here. Maybe they should have gone for the battle cruiser. There's some T2 back here. There's fat boys. So these are basically no threat. And if they'd scouted and found the commanders in the water, Crimple is still in the water. Is Milas? Yes, there is. So Milas and Crimple are still both in the water. They could have been sniped at any time by those torpedo bombers. There's so many coming out. All they go to is divert and go down there. I mean, it's obvious from a casting point of view that I can see that. All it would take is some scouts, go have a look at what they're doing, and realize that, hey, that's a commander. Okay, Emma has finished an experimental. What's he got? He's got a fat boy of his own by the look of it that has been built and ready to go. I wonder where that is going to. Could go through the water here, pop out and start killing things around this way. It's still fairly even in total mass. 1.75 million each. Having a good old time. Air flight overhead, we're seeing those torpedo bombers going for, I think, maybe they went for the battleship and impacted on the shields, but they didn't get a lot done. They were going for the battleship, but yeah, too many shield boats in the way. And while they do get the torpedoes off and kill some things, the air fight has been, well, it's actually been won by Sadnak, and that's another nuke out from Emma. Where's that going? The notification, but it should be alright. Got a nuke defense up there, so everything in that region will be okay. Let's go on for this annoying little plateau. Let's kill all these, everything aside from one engineer over here which survives. They can build another factory, right? But I think a ground assault would be a good idea here. Do unto them what got done unto them. Nuke goes out. Where's that going? That's a good question. I don't think it's going to land too far in because, yes indeedy, that is an SMD under assistance and it has loaded. It's saved this air factory, I'm pretty sure. So they open up on a battle cruiser and the battle cruiser just gets turned into wreckage. Shield boats decide to move forward, which is a terrible idea, but same thing happens to their shields. However, of course, Riptides are having a grand old go at this battleship. There's very slow fire, so they can get a lot done, especially if the battleships are focusing on something else, which they are. They're killing off some T3 mass extractor over there. Bad, annoying times for those guys. More torpedo bombers out. Scout on, kill the comms. Alright. What is the plan? Well, Bramwell's back here, nice and safe, all shielded up. Beside him is Sadnak, he's doing okay. Where is Esmo? Esmo's comm is here, he's building up some more stuff, getting some more shields as he needs. Another nuke out from Bramwell. This Stoner just got 252 kills, 5-star rank Piracy. Similar to this one, 281 kills for there. That's going to do great things. And it is going for the Navy, but the Navy just happens to move in the correct direction to get away from that nuke. Wanted to drop it a little bit closer, but it's going to do much. Kills off a couple of battleships. That is enough. Enough for now. And up here, there we go, that is a drop down from from Milas. Up here, this engineer is still doing his thing. If he was to pop down a factory, that'd be hilarious. He could pop out some more Zouis and kill off this lot all over again. It's this all anti-air, of course. Having a grand old time. These guys have moved to range. Cruisers are having a go at whatever's here. Need to do something about those before you lose all of this air. Whalers could come over and have a grand old look at those, but the attack missiles are going to be a problem if they can lob their way. How far can they go? A long way. A long way. That's a nuke out from Grimple. So Grimple's now nuking up here, and this is going to be a very dead plateau. So many T2RD trying to do their thing. And, well, it would have been nice to hold, but it's not going to happen. In the meantime, these cruisers up here are getting work, absolutely getting work done. They are demolishing everything they can get their grab limits on, including E3 engineers up here, and an attempt to start an SMD, because of course if you're going to hold anything, you're going to need the anti-nuke to do it. Arms back in the water, and a Fat Boy in the water. What? The Fat Boy confuses me. I honestly don't know why he's got the Fat Boy in the water. It simply does not have any kind of torpedo damage. Maybe he's trying to get over here so he can kill off this and this. That actually is not a bad plan. The problem is, of course, that the battleships will kill him quicker. Yeah, you can do that. Right, down here we have a Rambo SACU versus a standard SACU. There was a Fat Boy in the region. Yep, indeedy. And that's actually... well, the Rambo support comm could have stayed through and done some extra damage and possibly cleaned up. Alright. In the water though, we have Yathota. So Fat Boy over here from Emma just helping defend, and Yathota from Milas that is now on land and is going to have a look at just how much damage it can do. And well, let's be honest, the answer is it can do a lot. Fat Boy in the water may have been spotted looking at where these torpedo bombers are going. We are going to see dead Fat Boy. They're going for the harm. Nope, going for the Fat Boy. Watch the shields disappear. Oof. A tiny bit of shields left on that thing, and now the sub hunter's coming. The Fat Boy is in for a bad time. There is a farm nearby which is going to assist and maybe killing those off, but it is busy shooting at something else. Ah, the focus is not good. Going for the shielded. Oh my word. Absolutely focusing on the wrong things there. Finally start shooting at the sub hunters. It's going to survive, I think, but it's going to be a close thing actually. It's going to make it maybe extra torpedo assistance. That is going to go down and harm as well. Right, Yathota is on land, and it is all going to go downhill from here. Nothing on the ground to stop it out this way. Got a few T2PD. Fat Boy maybe is going the wrong way. I don't know. Perhaps it doesn't want to stop but carry on into the water. I wonder if that could have been a thing. No, I can't sneak up there. That is a solid cliff face. It might have been able to get over this way, but unlikely, however. Now, Fat Boy has problems. Fat Boy needed to run like a minute ago, but still able to get some good shots on the Yathota, which is standing still. Lost a good amount of health, but of course if the Yathota gets in range and kills the Fat Boy, it's going to get a nice rank of veterancy. Fat Boy, what are you doing? You're turning around, you're facing the wrong way. You're not going to kill the Yathota at close range. I would recommend control canning that before this thing gets a rank of veterancy. Once it dies, look at that. Kills the Fat Boy, 2 ranks of veterancy, a huge bump in health. And now then, what the heck can stop that thing from rolling on? And oh, there's another Fat Boy over this way. Some ground units, a bunch of riptides ready to go. But honestly, You need some hard hitting air to slow that thing down. In fact, it's turned back. Looks like it's just going to defend the wreck for the support commander to scoop up. Alright. No kind of plans over here. I'm not seeing anything big on the way. Lots of upgrades going on these. Is those teleport perhaps? No, maybe, maybe not. Uncertain. Absolutely uncertain. But back here, well, that's a T3 Arty, so Emma's gone for the T3 Arty route. Gonna get this up online. That's going to be an irritation. Not much is going to be able to stop that. Nuke into the Navy again, exact same spot. Fatboy decides it's not going to go into the water. A wise move. Battleships decide they aren't loitering. They're moving on. Battleship, but a different battleship is moving right into the path of where that nuke is going to land. But these three are going to survive and be a big issue for anything remotely related to the coast over there. Dear oh dear. Not looking great for Team 1 right now. Egged right on back. Some defensive nukes to help out is pretty much all they got at this stage. Well, they do have a number of them. I just wonder if they could have saved up the nukes and maybe tried to break through somewhere. Yeah, they got a nuke there. Nuke there, nuke there. 3 launches. Maybe. That is a full SMD though, if he moved out of the water. No, he's over there. Bramwell throws out the GG. He is thinking it's pretty much over here. The front of his base is getting absolutely hammered by Navy. There's 3 battleships in the region. There's a battlecruiser following up behind him. There are bunches and bunches of cruisers with attack missiles going everywhere. Just have a look at all the fire that's coming along his way. He is not having a good time of it. Not in the slightest. Now there's going to be a fat boy. Those rapid fire weaponry is going to turn all of these into corpses, as well as the battlecruiser helping out with its nice range there. Riptides were pushing out, but in the face of this they have to pull back. There's not a lot that they can do. Teleporter. Okay, so Sadnak is going for the teleporter. Maybe he can find a target to murder. The only thing is both of these guys are, well, 2 of these guys are in the water. Where is... Well, he could kill Emma. If he teleports to the right spot, there's only some T1 PD. Their range is like that. He could tele over here, perhaps, and shoot at Emma. He could maybe kill him. There's only a few T1 PD who would have a decent chance of doing so. Nuke going on up there from Kemple, because why not? We see the Riptides have started to swarm one of the battleships. They do kill it, but the thrower that was in the area kills him off. Fatboy kills him off. Is pretty much all she wrote. Rat bombers killing off that there. And this is going to be a desperation lays. Desperation telemaze. The question is, where is he going to send it? Have a gander and figure that out. Lasers done. In your teleport, good sir. Let's see where you're going to go with your rotating. Oh, he's not going for there because they haven't scouted it. They don't know that that's going on up. Maybe over here somewhere. Kill this nuke. Don't know. There's no point defense over here, so the only thing you'd have to be worried about is Navy, and there's enough Navy to be worried about, so that would be certain of it. No, he did come over here. I didn't see. Where's his laser? Oh, laser is firing, and here we go. This could be Emma going down. Emma is out of the game, and Sadnak now needs to move his column out of range of that. He can teleport somewhere else. All the point defense is down. He can now decide to run away to a different location. Having said that, there's a huge amount of strap bombers. That's well, I'm guessing Midas isn't paying attention, because otherwise he would have used those right away and killed Sadnak in one pass. But he's actually going to get out for another tele somewhere. He's not, is he? In the meantime, his base is absolute toast. Absolute toast. But that was a surprising pick up there, and still no reaction from Melis. More than enough stress to pop that. Where's he going? Is he going aggressive? Is he going home? Ah, there we go. He's going aggressive. Popping out there, and hello. Gonna kill off a bunch of things. There's lots of stuff here to kill. Plenty of units. No, move on in. Shoot that. That dies. It all dies. Everything dies, and the nuke defense is dead. Nuke. Steal the nukes and now before you go. Although the strat bombers are out and he's dead. So many strats. Did he have any nukes to launch? So very nearly almost that one. Fire now. Fire it. It's not going to make it. And the nuke is... Oh, the nuke was gone for Bramble. That is just unfortunate. He had killed the SMD as well with his tally, and that would have been an totally opportune time to dump a nuke onto this naval HQ, which would have killed Krempel's comm as well. And that's a lot of stress. I don't see. He's not getting out of that. Not getting out of that. So some missed opportunities tonight for those guys.